This is a must-see edit. Must see from Liam O'Brien. It is unbelievable and everyone needs to watch it. Welcome back to the Insiders Podcast. It's Matt here. Just a little quick intro before we jump into our episode with a special guest that Darren got to speak to. Unfortunately, it was at an ungodly hour for me that I just couldn't make. But Darren speaks to the guy who has produced one of the best edits I have seen in a long, long time. Liam O'Brien, and his edit, Friction of Perception, is absolutely unbelievable. You have to watch it. And Darren chats to Liam about the making of it, along with loads of other things. It is an incredible little chat. I got to listen as a fan this time and really, really enjoyed it. So I'm going to stop chatting and we'll talk about this in another episode. Anyway, but here's Darren with Liam O'Brien once again on The Insiders.
Darren, how are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. What's going on?
I see your hair's still rolling.
Yeah, still got the hair.
As it's
How you
curly,
been?
you don't have too many issues with it getting in the eyes.
Nah, not too bad. Nah.
Oh, I'm just up early here. We've got this festival. I don't know. You probably haven't been here in summer, but maybe you've seen some of these town festivals. Every village, well, a major village around our area has like a summer fete or fete they call it.
Okay,
Three
sounds
night,
cool.
yeah, 3 nights of people on the piers and carnival rides and music and all that sort of stuff.
Sounds wild.
Yeah, I'm happy it's over though because fuck, it's right across the road and the music just smashes me.
Yeah.
Hey, so you're on your way to California, right?
Yeah, just in the car on the way up the highway. But yeah, heading over there. How's things been your side? A few waves around or
Yeah,
pretty small?
no, today out in front of the house would be 10 foot plus.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. We got this big summer swell coming in, so I've rented a van and I'm going down to the coast to this kind of little hidden beach called Hondi where you can go with people that are, not ready to surf 10 foot howling
Yeah.
onshore Oswego in the middle of summer. What about
All
back
right,
home?
cool. There hasn't been much around. I haven't been home for long. Um, I was just in South Africa, but there wasn't much around. It was pretty small. I think the next week will be all right, but yeah, pretty average.
Did
Good
you
Huntington
did
practice.
did you get to go down to is it down or up to J Bay from Belita?
Down, down. I didn't actually go to J-Bay. Nah, it looked pretty good though. I was definitely envious, but
That,
it
that-
felt probably not my place, not being in the event. I knew how last time I was there, it was so crowded. I was like, oh, I don't need to contribute to that
no.
crowd out there.
So I'd have to assume that kind of winning would be a bit of a good bit of motivation for you.
Oh, I mean, it was just unreal. I haven't been so stoked to hear someone won a CT in a long time. It was so cool. And I mean, yeah, usually it's just the same old suspects that win most of the comps. So it was pretty epic to see Connor break through. He's such a good dude and such an amazing surfer too. So it's well deserved.
And
People's champ.
some of the best backhand surfing we've ever seen.
I know. Yeah, he's got that. He's got like the power of like, like an Oki or someone like that, but then he's also got the speed and agility of someone much smaller than he is. So it's pretty special to watch him wind up that big backhand crack, especially at a wave like J-Bay.
Oh, it's
Super fun
amazing.
to watch.
Yeah, so you were saying about practice for California. Have you ever had a result in Huntington?
Yeah, I've had a couple of results there somehow. I guess the Goldie, you surf a lot of grovelly waves around the Goldie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's known for the points and stuff, but 50% of the time or more, probably 60% of the time, it's pretty small and crappy. So there's a lot of there's some similarities between how you surf on the Gold Coast and how you got to surf at Huntington. So
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
I've done okay there in the past. So who knows? Hopefully, I can do it again. We'll see.
people probably don't know that so much, but waves like or beaches like, Surfers Paradise, Main Beach, all along there, you're always going to have an outside section and then a big gutter, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. No, there's if you look for it, there's plenty of dribbly backbanks with a gutter and a dumpy shorey, so you can get your practice in pretty easy.
And you're kind of looking in a good, well, it's a long season, but you're looking in a good spot. And with Matt, we talked about the comp, not the comp, the tour, the Challenger Tour, not long ago. And I remember another time when I think Leo got knocked off, and I was talking with Fipsy here, and I said, "Oh, he's off tour," and he said, "No, he's just on another tour." So you're now just on another tour, and
Yeah.
it kind of got better. You must be pretty happy with the pipe call.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're never going to knock back an event at pipe. Um, but yeah, like you said, it's just how it goes. You don't perform, you get chopped off. So that was obviously a bit of a bitter pill to swallow, but I think already it's been a good thing in that it made me really look into some of the stuff maybe I wasn't doing really well. Because I mean, prior to the season starting, I'd felt like I'd done the best prep I'd ever done, and I'd sort of geared myself up for a run at final. In my head, it was going to be a run at the final five. Done all this work, and then I found myself off tour and was kind of going like scratching my head, like what the hell happened? Um, and yeah, at first I was a bit felt like a bit of a victim where I was like, oh, this is such bullshit. Like I just do everything better than I've ever done. I feel like I'm surfing better than I've ever surfed, and then I can't even make the cut. And I'm like, what? Like this is so dumb. It doesn't make any sense. But I think once I kind of got past that and actually like really dug into why I was losing some of these heats and like what I was doing wrong, and I was able to kind of find a few things that maybe I wouldn't have found and wouldn't have worked on if I hadn't made the cut. So hopefully I can get back to a level one day. But I mean, regardless, it's been cool to just be able to pull out some of the things that or find a few of the missing pieces maybe that might be able to help me do a bit better in the future.
What's like, give me one specific thing that you identified that you really think that you could have done differently or will do differently.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me is just it's more the competitive side than anything. Like I don't love like the whole like hassling and hitting on people and those little 1% of things. And I prefer to try and just do it on surfing and just focus on that. And I think a lot of the stuff I've focused on in the last few years has been all surfing based, and trying to better different parts of my game and better different aspects of my surfing to try and get scores that way. And of course, once you're up, yeah, you got to be able to surf good. But I think especially in waves when it's marginal and there's not many opportunities. And I mean, I had that were pretty slow and there weren't many opportunities. And those little like being a bit slack on fighting for the inside at the start and sitting on right at the end or whatever it was, those sorts of competitive aspects of a heat where you got to be a bit more of a bulldog, ruthless competitor. I think that's what let me down, and I lost a few heats by just sort of not being stubborn enough at the beginning and not really fighting for the inside. So it's been a bit of a tough lesson to learn, but yeah, I've managed to learn it. I think.
I think I I thought about that a few times, and I think it goes across all walks of life. But I remember a couple of times in managing people in a team where you want to be the nice guy. You don't want to, like, when you're young, you've potentially worked for people and you've had bosses that are assholes, and then all of a sudden you're managing and you don't want to be that asshole. But then you realize that if you don't sometimes, nothing gets done. And same with like
Yeah,
same with sales reps. I worked with a lot of sales reps where you'd see that actually the dudes that would cheat and steal and sell their mother, they were the ones that usually always got the biggest figures.
yeah. No, it's a good point. I mean, yeah, it's always a bit of a internal struggle for me because it's like I don't want to take it to the degree where it's just like it's just kind of unsportsmanlike, but I just know that there's certain sort of non-negotiables that you have to do in a heat, and it's not comfortable. It's not something, like for example, sitting on someone with 5 minutes to go. You don't want to do it. You don't want to have to follow them up and down the beach and take the wave off them when the time comes. But I mean, they're going to do it straight back to you, and it's just business in those moments. And I think, yeah, I'm still trying to learn how to do it in a way that I can live with. But I think it just comes down to like separating the two things. And when the moment, you don't need to do it over the top, but when the moment comes, just know that it's part of the job. And if you're not prepared to do that, then you can expect to not make the heat, and you're just gonna have to be happy to lose. But I think if you want to make those tough heats where you're not getting the best waves and you're not getting your chances to just do your best surfing, then it's going to come down to moments like that. And I think at the end of the day, everyone kind of understands. I mean, you'd kind of expect it to be done to yourself if you were in the inverse situation. So yeah, that's been the big learning curve. I mean, I've always known about doing that stuff, but it's just sort of like making sure I'm really onto it all the time because it's easy to kind of just let it slip a bit, especially when it's not really your game and what you're into.
Well, that kind of leads me to where I actually really wanted to talk to you about. And is that I don't think anything from your competitive career has led to this, but surely you've noticed that your free surfing and your cinematography, I can't find the words anymore in English. Over the last few years, your edits, releasing video parts and stuff. Have you found that that's just a complete natural process and one that's just as, if not more rewarding than the competitive side?
Yeah, for sure. It's something I've always loved, and I mean, it's probably tied a bit more closely to just what you'd normally do going surfing. You're trying to go and get good waves, and you're trying to do good things on good waves. And the only difference being you're getting it captured and you're putting it into a film project. But that's, yeah, like you said, that's definitely probably a bit more of a natural thing for me to go and do, and something I do really enjoy. But at the same time, I think to do that without the surfing or the competitive surfing as well would be, I don't know. I like the balance of doing a little bit of both. I mean, the competitive stuff, it's uncomfortable a lot of the time, and it's not always fun. Unless you win the comp, you kind of bummed most of the time. But there's a real satisfaction in the discipline of it and having to push through a lot of these challenges, and then when you do get your little rewards, it is really satisfying, and you do feel like you've done a very specific amount of work to sort of reach a goal. Whereas with the video stuff, it's all a bit like up in the air, and you kind of, it's a lot less structured, and it's a lot less makes a lot less sense for someone that kind of comes from a background of both, or at least more of a competitive background. So I don't know. I do like the structure of competing, and then I like having whether I'm videoing or not, but just the going free surfing side and just going and getting fun waves and stuff. I like having that as something on its own that's a bit more of a release and that's a bit of a fun way to just stay connected to why I started surfing and not get burnt out.
Yeah, well, the competitive side's so much more tangible, isn't it? Like you can see a reward immediately on paper. Like you got a result, you say that's the reward there, as opposed to with your free surfing, somewhere. I mean, you get a wave and you know that you've also got that now for the rest of your life. Like some of those waves that you got, they're a tangible result of all the time you spend in the water.
Yeah. No, thanks. Yeah, it's like, I mean, you always hang on to the memory of your good waves, and it's pretty cool to have a little video to go with it, be able to remember that moment and reflect on it. But yeah, it's just like you said, it's so much more up at the air and vague. It's like, you can put all this effort and time and money into something, and it might not go that good online or whatever, and then you're sort of in this place where you're like, well, I'm still proud of doing it, and I still like the fact that I did it. But then you're like questioning why you invested that money and time into it, and you're kind of like, is that just a waste of time? Like, did I just waste all that cash and time, and was that even worth it? Like, uh, what was the point? And whereas competing, it's a lot more black and white, where it's either getting the result or you're not. It's not really like a kind of a vague thing. So I don't know. I just like to keep the two separate, and I like to do the film thing as a bit more of a personal pursuit, and then the pressure's off. I don't really care if anyone watches it or not. It's more just something for me that I enjoy doing and making, and then it's also like a bit of a time capsule too, and I can look back on stuff and what I was doing at the time and what music I was into and all that sort of stuff, and check things out like that, retrospectively, which is pretty cool. And then yeah, like I said, it's more for me and my own personal interests than for trying to make money off it or for trying to get more sponsors or whatever. If that happens as a result, then that's great. But it's it's nice for me to just keep it separate, and then it can just be, yeah, like a bit of a passion thing and a way for me to go and enjoy surfing in a different setting to competitions.
I think, unfortunately, you're gonna struggle with that your whole life because I'm I'm probably twice your age. And just over the last 5 or 6 years, I've been gifted work, which is kind of like 6 months, 7 months, and my off season just happens to be where our on surf season is here. And there's a lot of times where I'm. That's why I really found it interesting what you wrote in that stub when they presented your video. Is there's so many times where I've come in, or even at the end of it, like where you think like you should be euphoric, and you are, but like I've got a house, I've got a couple of children, and you're thinking, should I not have a second job, or was all that worth it? Because after your session's done, it's kind of done. You know what I mean? Like it's quite fleeting. You're out in the water for like 2 or 3 hours, which is amazing, and then you're in, you got your wetsuits, you got to get home, you got to do all the other stuff, but you can't walk away from it either, can you? Because like you see forecasts coming up, like nearly like a lot of surfers around the world where they live, especially surfers around the world where they live, where there's good spots and good weather systems, they'll see it and they can't like really concentrate on anything else.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's just the plight of being a surfer, I guess. You become addicted. You can't help it. And I mean, I think for me, like that's like so normal in my life, but then to someone that doesn't surf or doesn't get it, it just seems so ludicrous. And they're like, hell why are you so? You just had a good surf yesterday. Why are you back there trying to do it again today? Like, can't you just give it a rest? I don't get it. Like, you got to make hay while the sun shines. It's not like the skate bowl is always there and it's always the same dimensions and the conditions are always the same. It's like you said, it's fleeting, and even getting a good wave, you kick off a good wave and it's done. It's gone. There's no evidence of it. It's just it's condemned to memory and a fading memory at that. The second you kick off, you're just like further from that feeling again. You're only going to get further and further from that feeling, so you kind of go and chase it again. It's just like a drug addiction, I guess, but maybe in a bit of a healthier way. But yeah, it is a weird one, and especially like I've been lucky to have a lot of time to surf, obviously. So when the waves are good, I tend to kind of gorge myself on trying to get good waves. And yeah, it's sometimes you come in, you're absolutely exhausted, you've just neglected all these responsibilities, and you feel pretty guilty, and you're like, what was I doing? Why did I do all that? But then come next fall, you're doing it all again, and yeah, it's so interesting. And I don't know, maybe I don't really know, but maybe the film thing for me is a way of trying to give purpose to this like weird addiction to surfing waves that I have. And maybe I don't know. Seems like if I'm filming, then it makes a bit more sense. And I'm like, okay, at least it's sort of my job, so I can feel good about spending all day at the beach here and not doing every other job I was supposed to do today. So no, it's pretty cool though. It's cool to have something like that gets you up every day and that you're just passionate about doing. You want to wake up every day and you want to get to the beach and check it out, get out there. And, I mean, it's far better than the alternative, I think.
Have you seen the film Free Solo?
Yeah, yeah, I have.
Yeah, so that was like one of my it is one of my favorite films. I like watched it I think twice in the first couple of days. Now I'm going to make some comparisons with you to Alex here, and I remember the first time I watched it, I kind of got a little bit angry because I was watching a film which it's so extreme. He's doing such an extreme thing, and somewhere in the back of my mind, I wanted him to be just this gung ho American cowboy, like because what he's doing is just so it's death defying. It literally is death defying and everything, but he was that calculated and intelligent and really well spoken and analytic that I was like, how can you do all this stuff and and still climb that wall? And I guess some people would think that about you, where they see some of the waves you've taken, and you've got a process to these sort of waves, or it's just
Oh,
coming instinctively.
oh, I'm not even going to patch on that guy. Thanks for the comparison, but I can't. I can't accept that. He's an absolute freak and does some crazy, crazy things. I mean, I'm like into surfing some like heavy barrels and stuff, but I'm not doing stuff that people haven't done before. I'm just a sheep following the shepherd, really. And I don't know. For me, it's just like a natural sort of progression. You get a 4 foot barrel, and then you want to get a 6 foot barrel, and then you get a 6 foot barrel. You want to get a bigger one, and I don't really surf waves that are that big and crazy, in the grand scheme of things. Like there's guys surfing freaking ridiculous waves and doing ridiculous death-defying things on a surfboard, and yeah, I wouldn't say I'm even close to doing anything like that. I just like to. I think it's a cool challenge to go just a little bit beyond what you think you're capable of, or what level you're at and what you have done. Not in a reckless way, like obviously I build up to it. I'm not just gonna show up at I don't know Mavericks next year and just start knifing bombs at like I would never do it like that. But it's just like I don't know. It's been the same since I was progressed since a little kid, and it's like when you get a little barrel at I don't know, at the corner at Burley in the shore break, then you're like, oh, now I want to go out on a slightly bigger swell and get one just up the point, and it all just stems from there. And I've just sort of like kept doing that all through my life and just trying to step up incrementally. And the cool thing about surfing is there's always something crazier that you can go and do. And yeah, fortunate to travel to some pretty cool places and yeah, there's been plenty of pretty cool challenges along the way.
So you must have you must have thought at least once about surfing jaws then, as you like barrels.
Yeah, oh yeah, that looks crazy. I don't know if I'm up for that though. But maybe one day, but I've got a bit of, I've got a few other steps to get up before I get there.
And then what about knifing Mavericks? Because you've been to California before, obviously.
Oh yeah, same thing. I mean, I'd place that in the same category as Jaws. It's like just another huge, crazy wave. I think the big difference is too is like I don't get to spend a lot of time riding one of those big boards. So there's that as well as like just obviously the magnitude of the wave is just a whole another level. So I think I'd love to like surf those waves one day, but I don't I don't see myself doing anything crazy out there. I think it'd just be shoulder hopping a couple. But yeah, I'm pretty far off doing that still.
Well, the other thing I noticed was like, I would consider what you wrote like very, very good. And I do a lot of writing, which is very, very average. And I was reading your thing, and it kind of looked like a mix between someone who writes really, really good and who is able to use even ChatGPT and stuff. Because some ways, and which is what good writing is. People wonder how did they think of that, use that adjective at that time, and how did that lead to that? And like, how long have you been? Have you ever been writing a lot? Do you journal, etc.?
Yeah, yeah. I used to be real into it in school. Um, and then I was writing bits and pieces, and I still like write little bits and pieces when I get a bit of inspiration. But yeah, I mean, the wheels sort of fell off once I started surfing more and more. But oh, I definitely like it. But I don't know. Most things I write are pretty crap. Is pretty crappy. So I think it was just a bit of luck that that came out half coherent. But um, I don't know. It's just something I've always liked, and I've always loved reading, and I've always appreciated good writing, like you said, and admired um, different novelists and things. But I don't know. I think I always just get frustrated when I write myself because I read it and just in the moment when I'm writing it, I'll be like, oh, this is pretty good, and then I'll come back and read it a bit later and just go, oh, this is freaking terrible. This sucks. I get all bummed on it. So I don't know. I don't typically publish or like just share much of it because not that proud of most of it. But then with this thing, it was they asked me if I'd write a little um, paragraph, I guess, for just for a bit of a spiel about the film. So then I had a few thoughts as we've discussed before about what it meant to even make a video, surf video. It seems so kind of silly. So I thought I'd try and just do something and write something for it. And I don't even know what I think about it, but thanks for giving it a
How
good rap. But
how long did
yeah,
it how long did it take you to write that then? Was that wasn't one sitting, was it? Did you write it? Did you go back? Did you
no,
edit
no,
it?
yeah, I went back multiple times because I wasn't. I did it. I sort of did something, got something, bit of pen to paper first, and then let it sit for a bit, and then came back and a few days later and read it again. And went, oh, this is so bad. Like I don't even want to do this. And then I think I just left it for a month maybe, and then came back to because there was a sort of some delays with releasing the film. So then I came back to it again when it looked like maybe the film was going to be released, and I was like, I'll just try and finish it, and then and then decide. And then I kind of like in a few more sittings, I finished it off, and then um, I was still kind of on the. I was like, I don't know about it. It's a bit poxy and a bit airy fairy, but and I think the alternative was to just. I was going to just say, oh, maybe just let's just do an interview or something for it, and just went, oh, screw it, I'll just hand this in, and if they decide it's good enough to put on there, then I'll just let it be.
So then with the film, and this you you worked with someone else helped edit it as well for you, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah, I didn't do any of the editing on the film. It was all Darcy Ward, which is a filmmaker from the Gold Coast and a good friend of mine. And he actually works at Whistler now too, so it all worked pretty cool. And then I had another friend of mine, Daniel Laurie, make a lot of the music for it. I think we got one or two tracks that were pre-made, and then he made a couple of custom tracks for the film, as well as gave me a few songs that he'd like in bands that he'd been in and helped write. So a couple of songs he'd helped write that were unreleased to put in there too. So I was really lucky to have those two guys helping me out and making everything look pretty schmick and sound pretty good. And then of course all the guys that like helped film and everything are all really really talented filmers and make my surfing look a lot better than it is. So I was pretty lucky on this one to have some good people around me helping out.
So how uncomfortable was it for you, for example, when you were sitting there at a screening of this? I'm assuming you did. Did you do like an opening screening somewhere near Burley or something?
Yeah, yep, yeah. We did a premiere at Burley Brewing, which is like the brewery in Burley there, which was pretty cool.
I think a friend of mine worked there for a while, a guy that left. Um, France. He lived here for years. That was Todd Lee. His brother's Bruce Lee. So he lived here for years. He was working there. So yeah. So how was
Oh
that?
yeah.
Was that kind of comfortable, cringy, sitting there in a room and having all these guys that you know say how much they respect you and how good a guy you are?
It was a bit weird, yeah. I mean, it was. Don't get me wrong. It's cool and it's nice to be able to like show yourself off to your friends and to other people and get some compliments for it. But at the same time, I felt pretty weird about it. I was like, oh, this is so narcissistic to be like standing here with everyone making everyone watch my surf video. um, but no, luckily, like I had obviously, as I mentioned, I had some other people help work on it, so it wasn't just complete rubbish. But yeah, it is a bit odd. It's like a weird balance where you definitely you want the recognition for sure, but then when you get it, you feel a bit weird about it. You're like, oh, that was a bit egotistical to do like a movie premiere, but I don't know. It's pretty cool. It's cool to get all the support, and everyone was so supportive of it too. I had a bunch of friends and stuff come down and check it all out, which was pretty special. So yeah, it was definitely worth it. I was stoked. I was stoked we did it.
It's it's been going on forever, like without even before social media and everything like that. Like I've had some incredible surf sessions in my life where I was by myself. And I still remember one and I was by a friend and he was next to me in the water, and I took off on a really good deep one, just out from the house. This would have been when my son was one, so that was like 2005 or six or something. And I think it's probably still the best barrel of my life. It was all dark inside, down along near Canoe there, but no one was on the beach. No one saw it, and like so, I'm the only one who's got like record of it, and that's how kind of it used to be. And now for like older guys like myself and a lot of my friends and everything, it's just a kind of a nice way to be able to show your mates. If you get a good picture of a wave and you can post it on your Instagram thing, because it's just a way for your mates to say, "Hey, how's the wave I got?" As opposed as
Yeah, yeah.
as opposed to "Wow, wow, look at me" or whatever. And it's got to be the same with the videos.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just like, I mean, like we were discussing before. I mean, all these waves, they just live in memories otherwise, and which is pretty cool. It's also a cool part about it, where it's you're just doing it for the thrill. But it is also at times it's pretty cool to be able to like go, oh, check these waves I got out when I went to wherever. When I went on this trip overseas, check these waves I got, or how was I surfed here the other day and it was pumping, and look at these waves. It's kind of cool to be able to share it. But I don't know. You gotta try and do it in the right way to not be too much of a wanker. But I don't know. I guess probably getting yourself filmed and sharing it like I do all the time is pretty wanky. So I can't really talk.
See, that's an Australian subcultural reflection that you got there because we grew up the same thing, and I can see it's still the same. Like you can see some of the guys that are from Burleigh there, they're real kind of back to basics Aussies, and we grew up where even if you got a haircut, you were classed for a few days as a wanker and you get punched in the arm and things like that, as opposed to like Americans or other nations um, where they celebrate the fact that you want to be great.
Yeah, yeah. It is funny. But I don't know. It seems so normal to me that it's like weird when people get a bit a bit big for their boots and no one pulls them down. You're like, what's going on here? This is this is odd. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm probably brainwashed to just exist like that. Maybe I don't know. But I think it's kind of a good thing at times, and you don't want, I don't know, getting into more philosophical territory here, but it's I feel like it's not that nice to be around someone that's just like big note themselves all the time and just sort of like running the show where you're like it's I don't know. For some reason, whatever why that is, I can't give you a straight answer, but there's um there's definitely like it's just nice to be around people that are a bit humble, and I definitely respect that quality in people. So I don't mind the fact that it's a bit of a thing in Australia to kind of tear people down a little bit, mostly in a joking way, which is all good. But yeah, that's got to be it's a fine line, right? You still want people to be confident to go and chase their dreams and all that too. So yeah, I don't know. That's a weird one. I have to think about that a bit more to make my mind up on where I stand.
So you got California here. What's after that? Is the next one after that not till Portugal?
Yes, yeah, correct. Portugal in late September.
So that's a pretty big off stint. And then is Brazil straight after that?
Yeah, yeah.
Brazil straight.
Portugal straight to Brazil, and then another off stint, and then Hawaii and Newcastle.
So the fact that you got Hawaii there now as a comp, which is a really good way to tell people back home, your family and friends and everything, look, I have to go here because this is for work. Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, exactly.
what sort of stint are you going to look at doing in Hawaii? How long will you look at going there?
I'll definitely go a few weeks before the comp. I'll go a bit early, just because that time of year is so good for waves. Um, but I haven't really figured it out yet. But yeah, at least a couple weeks pre-event, and then the event window, which is usually nearly 2 weeks as well. So probably a month.
Do you think there's going to be a good stack of 16 Hawaiian wild cards in there?
I don't, I'm not too sure. I'm sure they'll. I mean, they got to throw a few of the crew in there because there's a massive massive pack of really good local crew that surf pipe. I mean, and Darren's at the forefront showing everyone how it's done out there. So they got to have a fair showing of the local contingent out there, I think. But yeah, it's interesting because will be interesting because there'll be I'd imagine there'll be a bunch of CT crew that will be wanting to do it as well. So I'm not sure how it'll work, how they'll kind of get everyone into that event, but time will tell, I suppose.
Hmm. Well, we've got 1 minute to go, so like, thanks a lot again. Maybe we see it. Maybe you see it in France. Maybe before Portugal, like you did last time. It'll depend on your schedule.
Yeah, yeah, I'd love to get back to Hossegor there. It's unreal. But yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's good to have a yarn with you.
Well, good luck also with the hop. You been doing squats to try and hop over the gutter?
Yeah. Yeah, been doing some. I've actually just been doing some hopping.
Well, there you go. That's as good as anything. All right, mate. Have a sick day, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Speak to you soon.
See you later.